Howdy folks, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do the first turn in the Days of Decision 3 World in Flames solo playthrough, and we're going to start with the January and February 1936 turn. The political initiative for this turn has already been set. It's set up as a precondition of starting the game. Normally, major powers bid for a political initiative, but on the first turn, it's already set. Each major power has considered to have bid 1 point, and the order is as you see it there, with Germany first, running all the way down through to China. Okay, so Days of Decision basically inserts a political phase at the beginning of World in Flames, and then once you finish with Days of Decision, you transition to World in Flames. So for the first turn, Germany is the first major power to pick a political initiative or a political option. Each major power has a number of political options, country specific, and they also have a bunch of political options that are generic to all the major powers, international options. So for the first option for this turn, Germany is going to pick Occupy Rhineland. You can see it right there. Germany can only play this option if France is not currently occupying the Rhineland, and if Germany's initiative position is lower than France. Well, Germany's initiative position is 1, and France is 4, so her position is lower. France is not currently occupying the Rhineland. France does have a political option which allows France to occupy the Rhineland. It is an option that the Germans could allow the French to do that, but they would lose 2 factories and 2 resources. The offset would be the amount of U.S. entry that France would accrue would negatively affect U.S. entry later in the game. Let's see the prerequisites. Meet the prerequisites. You can see there's a number of minor countries which will be influenced slightly. There are influence markers that we will place in the minor country after the option is paid for. So I will do that right now and be back shortly. Okay, I placed all the influence markers. We have +1 in Romania, +1 in Poland, and a +1 in Czechoslovakia, strangely enough. We have -1s in Hungary, Austria, the Netherlands, and Denmark, and a +3 in Belgium. Sorry about the glare. That's just the lights. I'll try to work around it as best I can. Okay, so I recorded the U.S. entry. I placed all the markers. The next thing for Germany to do is activate a minor, and I think they're going to choose to activate Belgium. So we pick up all the markers in the country, which is only 1 in this case. We go over to the status display, which is right over here. Now, it costs, as Belgium, right there in the Democrat ideology. It costs basically 2 to move a hex. It costs an additional 1 to cross a boundary, for example, from this hex to this hex. There's a boundary right here, so it costs an additional 1. It also costs 1 to move away from a country that can control you when you're in that ideology. In this case, France can control Belgium, so to go from here to here, it's going to cost 2 +1 moving away from a major power that can control Belgium, so it'll be 3. And we have 3 points, so that'll do it. Just move it right there. And the last thing we do is we roll to see if Germany ends the political phase. Now the roll is a 1, +1 for each political option that has been played previously. 6, move on to the next. Last card marker moves down. To Italy, and Italy is up. Italy is going to choose the infrastructure option. And what that's going to do is no infrastructure must be played to build these while neutral. Okay, so that's like develop resources or forts or any of that kind of stuff. Synthetic oil plants, those types of things. So what Italy is going to do is she's going to develop this resource that's right down here in Libya. So I'm going to take this off the map. Italy will have to pay 6 for that, and I'll put it on the production chart. So we'll revive, it will 6 turns, so 6. It will come back on the map next year this turn. And it'll be a functioning oil plant. That will cost Italy 6. Dig out the Italians. I'm going to put them at -1. Upside down, -1. Okay, and then the last thing that Italy does is she rolls to see if she ends the political initiative. Ends the political phase. And again, roll to 5. So we move on to the next major power. The next major power up is going to be the Commonwealth. And Commonwealth has decided, in the interest of security, that she would like to get a level 1 treaty with France. It's right there. Okay, so her initiative position must be less than the other major powers. And that is true because France is 4 and the Commonwealth is 3. So that's less than. Okay, there's a bunch of minor country effects which I'll put into place. These only take effect if France, and the cost only takes effect if France turn is able to accept it. So next thing we do is we roll to end the political phase and roll the 9. And so we continue. So next up is France. Next up is France. France is going to use their option, agree to a proposal. This is the option you play to respond to someone else's proposal. In this case, a level 1 treaty. At some point, I'll probably go over what a level 1 treaty is. Just means that they can cooperate and they can have limited cooperation and they can form a trade agreement. So, trade agreement, the Commonwealth is probably going to allow the French to get the Burmese oil because the French don't have any oil right now. They'll build tankers, but that's the way it is. Okay, so will see if France ends the political phase, or political phase. And rolled another 9. So we will continue, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, the last thing we need to do after the level 1 treaty was completed is to activate a minor. Now, it takes 2 points to move a minor on the status display. And basically, Great Britain, because they proposed the treaty, it's their influence that goes out. Got a whole bunch of 1s and -1s. So it's really no sense in activating a minor that's not going to move and wasting a 1. So I think what Great Britain will do is activate one of these minors and blow off the -1. So I think what we'll do is we'll activate Turkey. Pick up the marker. Don't really need to do anything with it because it's not going to move anything. Back in the box. And then France rolls to see if they end the political phase. And she rolled a 7. So the roll she needed was 1, needed a 4 to end it, and she didn't. So we move down to the next major power. The last card moves down 1. It's now at the Soviet Union's turn. I think what old Stalin's going to do is he's going to purge. He's going to conduct the purge. Let's see. The Soviet Union may not play this option if she is at war with Germany. Nope. The Tachevsky HQ, which probably mangled that name, and 3 Soviet infantry units must be in the Soviet Union. Well, they start with that, so good to go there. There's a whole bunch of minor effects, and U.S. entry, surprisingly, is a -4, so the U.S. actually likes that. And this is one of those options that's limited. It says it's limited. So I wrote down the date that the option is taking place to note that if it has happened. So I'll get those markers out and record the US entry and pay for it and be right back. There is a whole swath of Soviet influence after the purge. Whole swath. Lots of -1s and +1s. Countries from Austria all the way over to Iraq and Persia. And Finland didn't like it very much. Big old -2. But I think we got a +2 in the Baltic states. So I think the Soviet Union will activate the Baltic states. Grab the marker. There's only 1, so we just have 1 to use. I'll come over here. Status display. It's the Baltic states right on top. Gotta move 1 space closer. Space closer. Oh, and I knocked them all over. Great. I'll pick that up in a minute. Okay, so next is this. We'll see if the Soviets in the political phase. We got 2, 3, 4 options. So 5 or lower and the political phase ends. Roll the 10. So we move on to Japan. Japan is actually going to pick one of the international ones. She's going to pick minor economic agreement. This option may not be played against minor powers that are at war or already in a civil war. We're going to sign a minor economic agreement with the Netherlands to get an oil. So that's going to cost Japan 4 money. Let's +1. And there's only one influence for that, and that goes in the country that you signed the minor economic agreement with. That's going to be the Netherlands. Japan gets a +1. But you still get to activate a country, a minor country. It has to be a minor country that Japan can control. So for that, let's take a look at what Japan can control. Japan may control Argentina, Brazil, Central America, Chile, Iraq, Mexico, Netherlands, Persia, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, Siam, and Venezuela. Portugal's got a +1 for Commonwealth. Netherlands has some +1s, -1 for Germany, and not going to be able to do anything there. So I think what Japan's going to do is activate something that will take one of the +1s away for the Commonwealth. I think we're going to activate Saudi Arabia. That basically just blows off that +1. Japan gets to roll to see if she ends the political phase. I rolled another 10. Wow. 2 10s in a row. Go figure. So we move down to the U.S. The U.S. is going to propose a treaty with China. Same type of treaty that the Commonwealth proposed to France. So the U.S. doesn't get to do anything until we see if we get to China. So just basically roll to see if the political phase ends. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically, by rolling a 9, the political phase will actually continue. And we'll get down to China. The 2 last cards meet. That's something we do not see very often. So China is going to accept a proposal. And so I will take care of all the influence. Be back in a second. Okay, the last thing we do is activate a minor. I'd forgotten to activate a minor for Italy's turn. So what I did is just considered that they had activated Hungary and took out the -1 German marker that was there. So I think what I'm going to activate is the Netherlands. And why? Because there's a -1 British there and a +1 Japanese there, so I'll also get rid of the -3, -1 German. But it basically gets rid of the minuses for the democracies and a plus for one of the fascists. So it's a good move to do that, I think. Put the markers back, okay. So that's the end of the political phase because last card made it all the way down to the bottom. So now we move on to initiative or weather, or initiative and then weather. And I rolled initiative already. And initiative ended up being Democrats lost, and then the communists were in the middle, and the fascists won. So the fascists decided that they were going to go last. And the communists decided they were going to go second, and the democracy, well, they're going first. The weather roll was atrocious. January, February, we got blizzard in the Arctic, snow in North Temperate, snow in the Mediterranean, fair in North Monsoon, storm in South Monsoon, and rain in South Temperate. So it's not going to be a whole lot going on the boards for this first turn. Okay, and the next is reinforcements. Sequence of play. Next thing is the reinforcement stage. And there's no reinforcements for January, February. Okay, now we go to the action stage. Oh, the impulse marker is moving up, I believe, 3. Yeah, 3 spots each impulse. Well, basically, I don't think the democracies have anything they want to really do. There's really not too much for them to do. This guy here should actually be, yeah, okay, he should be right there. That's fine. China. Okay, so in China's a unique situation because of the Chinese communists. The Chinese communists will move during the Soviet Union's impulse. And the nationalist Chinas will move during the democracy's impulse. I don't see a whole lot for them to be doing right now. Okay, so I think the democracies are done and move up 3. The communists aren't doing anything, so we're going to move up 3. And now we're at the fascists, so we have a little bit to do with them. Go down, all the way down to no port attacks, naval air, naval movement. So the Italians are going to take their transport, load up their mechanized corps. Go 1, 2, all the way down to the Red Sea. Where they will rebase at the end of the turn and end up in Ethiopia. I need some help there. We don't even have enough for 2-to-1 on the Ethiopians. And the weather's crap anyway, so it don't matter. Don't matter too much. So what I'm going to do is I'll run through the rest of the turn and then come back with production. Okay, production was Germany got 6 money. They had 11 production points saved in oil. Japan got 12 production points, 4 money. 1 had to go to the US, so it's 3 money. And they saved in oil. Italy got $2. They had 5 production points. The USSR had 29 production points. They got 3 money. They saved in oil. The USA got 3. But they had 36 after saving in oil. That's $3. Their production multiple is 1/20th. France got 9 production points for $2, and China had 12 production points for $1. And after production, had the USSR built an HQ. $5. Germany pulled the WiFCE out of the repair pool. So that's 1, 2. Cost them $1. They laid down a battleship for $2. And they built the pilot for $2. Spent a total of $5. France built 3 tanker points. France built 3 tanker points and a pilot. That's a total of $5. This is the first turn. I don't think you have to pay much attention to gearing limits. I could be wrong. Not really using them anyways. Okay. Great Britain built a convoy point and a tanker point. $2. Pull the transport out. 1, 2, 3, for $2. 4. Started construction on the Manchester. It's a heavy cruiser for $1. And built a combat air group. Combat air group. Alright, right there. It's a real winner. Italians laid down a carrier. Spent $2. Japan built 2 convoy points and laid down a carrier for $3. The United States pulled 3 ships out of the construction pool. The Saratoga, which is $4. That's a really expensive carrier. And I built a convoy point. That's a total of 5. And pulled the Colorado out. That's 3 more for 8. And the heavy cruiser Quincy for 2 more for 10. Well, they spent $10. And that's production. And we will go move to the next turn. Well, one of the things I didn't talk about was the production multiples. As you can see, they're all in the starting spots. And they range anywhere from 1/2, which is Germany, all the way down to 1/20th, which is the US. And basically, you take your production points and you multiply it by your production multiple, and that gives you the money. So that's how that works. All right, also, there was one thing that happened on the turn. Japan took an infantry unit that was here and loaded it up on a transport and unloaded it at the end of the turn over here in China. Italy's transport rebased here with the 5.5 mech core. Italy has to be careful about how she uses oil dependent units, because she only has 1 oil, so she's got to be real careful about that. Also, Japan deployed 2 more tanker points to get the other NEI oil from the Netherlands East Indies. Alright, wrap this up and get this uploaded, and hopefully get another turn by next week. See ya.